The Marriage of Anansewa. The Marriage of Anansewa is a lively satirical comedy written by Ghanaian playwright Efua Sutherland. It combines storytelling, music, and traditional performance techniques to depict the cunning actions of a man named George Kweku Ananse and his attempts to use his only daughter, Anansewa, as a means to gain wealth and social advancement. Set in post-colonial Ghana, the play humorously exposes greed, deception, and the conflict between traditional customs and modern aspirations. The play opens with a storyteller, who acts as a narrator and a link between the audience and the play's action.
Welcome, children, to a story from the heart of our land.
George Kweku Ananse, often referred to simply as Ananse, is a clever, scheming man whose name itself recalls the famous West African trickster spider. Like his mythic namesake, he uses his intelligence and deceit to outwit others for personal gain. However, unlike the mythical Ananse, this one is not a spirit, but a struggling clerk in modern Ghana trying to climb the social ladder. Ananse lives with his beautiful and educated daughter, Anansewa, whom he has single-handedly raised after her mother's death. Though loving in his own way, Ananse is also deeply manipulative. He sees in his daughter's beauty and education an opportunity to attract wealthy suitors, who can bring him both financial comfort and social prestige. But instead of honestly arranging her marriage to one man, he devises a plan to send letters and photographs of Anansewa to 4 different chiefs, each of whom believes he is the only suitor being considered. Ananse personalizes each letter, flattering each chief, and suggesting that he alone has been chosen to marry Anansewa. His daughter, initially unaware of the full extent of her father's plan, is ordered to type the letters and take her photographs, which are then sent to the chiefs. Each chief, believing he is the only one in line to marry such a fine young woman, sends gifts and money to Ananse as a sign of commitment. In this way, Ananse cleverly secures financial support from all 4 men. Anansewa gradually becomes uncomfortable with her father's manipulation. When she learns the full truth, that her image has been sent to 4 different chiefs, she protests bitterly, feeling used and dishonored. However, Ananse manages to pacify her with promises that everything will turn out well.
Please, just listen to me for 1 second. I'm begging you.
Insisting that once the wealth starts flowing, they will live comfortably. Despite her reservations, Anansewa reluctantly plays along. Ananse's greed and cunning reach their peak when the chiefs begin sending even more luxurious gifts. The household is soon filled with money.
We finally did it. All our hard work paid off.
Boasting about his cleverness and imagining himself as a man of great importance. However, as the day of decision draws near, when he must choose which chief will actually marry his daughter, Ananse finds himself in a difficult situation. He cannot offend any of the powerful chiefs without risking retaliation. Then comes a twist. Anansewa suddenly falls ill and appears to die. Her supposed death throws the household into confusion. But, as the audience soon discovers, Ananse himself has staged the entire incident. He fakes Anansewa's death as a way to escape the dilemma he created. His plan is to make all 4 chiefs believe that Anansewa has died before her marriage, thus freeing him from the responsibility of choosing one and disappointing the others. When the news spreads, the chiefs send lavish condolence gifts to Ananse in honor of the late bride. During the mourning period, Ananse plays the role of a grieving father, wailing dramatically over his daughter's body. But behind closed doors, Anansewa is very much alive, hidden from everyone. Ananse carefully manages the act, making sure that no one discovers the deception. He even organizes an elaborate funeral to solidify the illusion. The climax of the play occurs when one of the chiefs, Chief who is chief, expresses deep sorrow and devotion. He sends the largest contribution, and shows the most genuine affection for the late Anansewa, saying that he would have loved her truly as his wife. Moved by his sincerity, Ananse decides that this chief will be the rightful husband for his daughter. As the mourning rituals end, Ananse suddenly announces a miraculous resurrection. Anansewa comes back to life. The astonished audience within the play believes it to be divine intervention, but the audience watching the play understands that it is yet another act of Ananse manipulation, In the end, Ananse's trick succeeds beyond expectation. Chief, who is chief, gladly accepts Anansewa as his bride, believing her revival to be a sign from the gods. The other chiefs gracefully withdraw their interest, leaving Ananse's scheme complete. Anansewa, though initially a pawn in her father's plot, finally gains respect, admiration, and a secure future as the chosen wife of a noble and wealthy chief. The play closes with the storyteller returning to the stage.
We are here to celebrate our culture and heritage.
Though Ananse's trickery achieves material success, it also exposes the dangers of greed, hypocrisy, and the commodification of women in marriage arrangements. Efua Sutherland masterfully blends traditional African storytelling with modern social satire, using humor, music, and audience participation to teach lessons about morality, family relationships, and cultural change. The Marriage of Anansewa celebrates wit and imagination while criticizing the selfishness and moral compromise that often accompany the pursuit of wealth and status.